Good morning, everyone. I hit the ditch yesterday. How's everyone doing today? I do have my radio on, so I don't know if we'll have any interruptions on there, but this kind of weather I like to have the radio on, just in case there's somebody else in the ditch ahead of me. Another Sutco truck crashed on Paulson, which we're on right now. We just did the brake check yesterday, and the driver's okay, but he seems like he's done quite a bit of damage to the trailer and truck, so at least the driver's okay. So we're headed to Kelowna, Winfield, just north of Kelowna. I should be there by now, but I was in the ditch for 4.5 hours yesterday. Running a little behind. Little behind. Yeah, we're just coming down the Paulson westbound. So yesterday, right after I shot the bonus video, 5-10 minutes after, you saw how hard it was snowing. So apparently underneath that snow there was ice on a couple of the corners. At least the one corner I went into the ditch on. That corner, the firefighters that showed up, no, normally a guy going into the ditch, no damage to me, no damage to the truck. I was perfectly fine. It was a nice, gentle ditching. Fire trucks don't show up for that. It's the other stuff that happened after that the fire trucks showed up. The firefighters called it the $1 million corner because he said the corner is designed at an angle that is the wrong angle for that corner. So normally when you take a corner, the banking is kind of up, so it kind of keeps you on the roadway. This corner is exactly the opposite, so the rain runs down the outside of the corner instead of the inside of the corner like most corners. Called the $1 million corner because they spend a lot of their time on that corner all year round with crashes. But yeah, I hit the ditch. I kept just making the corner, and all of a sudden the steering wasn't turning anymore. It was just going straight. It's a slow sweeping corner. There's no warning signs, not even one of those diamonds that say there's a corner coming. Such a slow sweeping corner. Not a tight corner at all. I was doing 70-80 kilometers. It's somewhere in there. Probably because of all the snowing so hard, right? So, but it was still very slushy, but apparently underneath that slush, it was icy. So, once I came to a stop, I kept driving the truck till I came to a stop. Never stop driving your vehicle until you're stopped. Don't take the hands off your steering wheel until you're at a complete stop. So I parked it nicely in the ditch. I'm like, well, it's a shallow enough ditch. I might be able to drive out of this. So I put chains on. Well, I jumped on the call quam, let dispatch know I was in the ditch, and that I was going to attempt to put chains on and try driving out, and I would let them know if I need a tow truck. So I jumped out of the truck, threw my first set of chains on the driver's side tires, and I just heard this bang behind me. So I looked up and I saw this white wall of death coming towards me. It was a single trailer van, a white van. The side of the trailer was in the ditch, just coming straight towards my truck, and I just dropped everything and ran. I'm like, I do not want to be on the driver's side of my truck when that truck hits me. So I ran to the other side of the truck. As I got just past the front of my truck, he passed me his trailer was in the ditch, but he kept his truck on the highway. His trailer came within about 15 feet of my truck, and he pulled it back on the road. But the reason for the big bang was a different truck sideswiped him the whole way along the side of the truck, and 3 of his tires fell off. One of those tires came in with 7 or 8 feet of me, just flying past me. If you guys have ever watched any YouTube videos of semi-truck tires, you know they can kill people. So glad I just dropped everything and ran around the front of the truck and hid. So the other truck that hit him was a Super B fuel tanker truck. It was empty of fuel, which actually makes them more dangerous for explosion because all the gas is inside. But he sideswiped that whole other truck, but didn't do any damage to the tanks or anything. So he was good that way. But he jackknifed right after, and kind of like the cliff is over here on the left-hand side, he started jackknifing and drove the cab of the truck straight into the side of that cliff. So it was a head-on collision with that cliff. And that's where that huge bang came from. And then after that, he jackknifed and crumpled up pretty good. So I jumped back in my truck, hit that emergency button on my call quam, made it clear that I was okay, but there are other trucks crashing that needed medical help. And then I ran. Never ever run to help the other guy first. Always get emergency help first. Call 911, no cell service. I had the call quam. Before you go and help that guy, if there's no cell service and you need to get moving, flag down a different motorist and get them to drive down the highway, get cell service, and get ambulance coming, because that is priority number 1, getting ambulance to scene. After that, I ran to the truck because the van truck regained control, got the trailer back on the road, and parked on the side of the road in front of me. So I ran to the truck that was jackknifed, and by the time I got there, he was stumbling out of his truck. And at the same time, another pickup pulled up, and he was a off-duty firefighter. And by the way, I used to be a firefighter, so I have firefighter and paramedic. I didn't enjoy the paramedic part of it, but I was both. So we helped him out of his truck, and the firefighter opened the tailgate of his truck and sat him down on his truck. If you guys are at all grossed out by any kind of blood stories, I wouldn't listen for the next 5 minutes. Hopefully I get that part done in 5 minutes. He was bleeding everywhere. His whole face is just blood, just dripping off. And he kept touching his forehead. I told, stop touching your forehead. He knew his name, he knew the date, he knew where he was, he knew exactly what happened, so he was 100% there. He was in a bit of a shock because he did not feel any kind of pain. And he should have been feeling a lot of pain. So his forehead had a big flap of skin in the shape of a big U. Inch wide, 1.5 inches high, just a big flap of skin hanging loose. And it was cut deep. You could see his skull underneath. It was just bleeding everywhere. So I took a picture of his forehead and showed it to him so that he would stop touching his forehead, because he shouldn't be touching that. I would have moved the flap back into place, but I did not have gloves on. I have gloves in the truck, but silly me didn't think of that through ahead of time, because I didn't know if the guy was going to be injured. But that should have been my second priority, is grabbing my medical gloves so I don't get any blood on me. So I didn't want to touch his forehead, but we got him to sit down there, calm. He was nice and calm and followed our directions. So yeah, he broke the steering column on his truck with his chest. The whole steering column was crunched into his dashboard. hadn't really thought of it before till right now. I wonder if he's wearing a seatbelt because he hit his head on the windshield and he smashed the steering column into the. Obviously didn't have air brake or airbag. It didn't go off anyway. I know I don't have airbags. Slippery, slippery. I think a lot of big rigs don't have airbags. Some of the newer ones do, but yeah, I kind of thought he was going to go by. Give him space to do that. It's a little bit slippery to be passing, but It's quite a bit lighter than I am too. So I let the firefighter take care of the guy that was bleeding all over. He had his medical kit, had his gloves on, so I told the firefighter guy, you take care of this guy, I'm going to go run check out on the other driver, make sure he's okay. So I ran down that way, checked on the other driver. His driver's side window right beside him was shattered because the other truck sideswiped him the whole way. So he had some glass cuts on his forehead, just very minor little cuts, a little bit of bleeding, not bad at all. So he didn't need any medical attention. The type of cut that you wouldn't really show off to anyone.
You guys heading westbound down the Wolf and you got a dog?
Affirmative.
You guys come over to checking down this morning?
I came over last night and it wasn't too bad. It was chain up though. The area they did the avalanche control, that was very slippery.
Okay, thanks, man. Have a safe trip.
You too, thank you. That's why I got the radio on, so we can communicate. Where was I? Yeah, the van driver wasn't too bad at all. So what happened was the van was actually passing a different big rig around the corner. I don't remember seeing a different big rig, but the van driver said he was passing a different big rig. It's 4 lanes right there. It was in the hammer lane, and the oncoming Super B came out of his lane, across his hammer lane, and into the other oncoming hammer lane. And the van truck said he didn't even see me in the ditch. He wanted to know when I got into the ditch, and I'm like, I was there before you guys. He just goes, so I didn't hit you? It's like, nope, definitely not. He goes, well, what happened to the truck I was passing? I'm like, that truck just kept driving. I didn't see a truck. He said he was passing a truck, so there was nobody else around. So if there was another truck, he drove away. You know, you'd think that'd be fleeing the scene of an accident, even though you're not involved, but it is what it is. Some people don't follow common moral and legal. It's the law. You can't run away or leave a scene of an accident. Yeah, ambulance showed up, stopped at the first truck, and he waved him further, goes, don't worry about me, the other guy needs help. And he came to my truck. I'm like, no, just keep going. You'll see the jackknife. Helped that guy out, brought him to the hospital. I'm sure he's going to be feeling a lot of pain today and tomorrow, and probably his head is going to be stitched up for a couple of weeks. This truck is, I don't see it not being a write-off, but you never know. So yeah, I had an exciting day yesterday. When the police showed up, another ambulance showed up. The ambulance came to me, the other extra ambulance, and asked me if I was okay and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, I used to be a firefighter. I know I make the worst patient, but I really am perfectly fine. I parked my truck in the ditch, nice and neat. Nothing in the truck even moved. I do have everything strapped down, so it shouldn't move, but nothing moved. It was a nice, fairly gentle landing for me. I just parked it. I didn't crash it. It's like the other guys need some medical care, but I am perfectly fine. Nerves of steel, not shaky at all. Well, that's part of the firefighter thing. I'm used to the adrenaline rush. The adrenaline rush doesn't get me into shakes like it did before I was a firefighter. You learn how to control your adrenaline, or take the adrenaline and use it type of thing. I think I used it right away because of that crash. I ran and helped the other people out. That's a good way of using your adrenaline. And then the police came to me and asked me what happened, and I told them that I'm not even involved in that accident. I hit the ditch because it's slippery. They all crashed after me. I didn't see anything. All I did is heard it. I told them that I saw the wall of death coming towards me. I basically told them what I saw and what I did, and then he goes, okay, I don't need a statement from you. I'll go talk to the other drivers. As soon as I was out of the ditch, I was good to go. So, yeah. It was a good day for me. Could have been much, much worse. I remember thinking as I was running around the front of my truck avoiding the wall of death, going, well, I hit the ditch with no damage, and now that truck's going to slam into the side of my truck. I had this visual image of like the YouTube videos where you see big rig after big rig smashing into each other. I'm like, that's going to happen to me now. Of course, the guy that lost the 3 tires, the one tire came zipping past me, the other tire went in the other ditch, and the other tire just stopped in the middle of the highway. So, and also there was lots of metal debris on the road, like step bars, you know, the big steps to get into the truck, stuff like that, big metal pieces on the highway. So after I had helped both of the guys out and made sure they were okay, I started pulling the big debris off the highway. I'm like, I know the police won't want me to move a lot of stuff, but I don't want another car to come and smash into this stuff too and make it worse. So I left the debris in the area it was, just to the side of the road. Explained that to the police officer too if he wanted to do an investigation. Told him where I found the debris that I removed. So yeah, remember, drive your vehicle. Even if you're in the middle of a crash, don't give up. Don't take your hands off the steering wheel. Keep driving it. If you're headed into the ditch, keep driving it. Steer it. There's a tree coming. Don't look at the tree. Look at the space between the trees and aim for that space between the trees. And guess what? If you're looking at the space between the trees, that's where you're going to head. Your brain will automatically make your hands do what needs to be done to get into the space between those trees. If you look straight at that tree, that is exactly where you're going to head. You're going to head right into that tree. So train yourself to look where you want to go. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed the story, hit the thumbs up. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to get some new steer tires today after I get loaded. Hopefully I get loaded. Hopefully I get unloaded and loaded. And then I'll get new steer tires right after that. And if I don't, I'll get steer tires today. Either way, I'm going to get steer tires today evening. I don't know if the new steer tires would have kept me out of the ditch. It was pretty darn icy there. But they're low enough. I was going to get new steer tires this week here anyway. It seems like a good day today to do that. My maintenance guy from Sutco wanted me to get new steer tires yesterday right away. Just park at the nearest Cal Tire and wait. But the steer tires are still 100% legal. They're still actually pretty good traction. There could be better traction. I'm not saying the new steer tires wouldn't have helped me. They would have definitely helped me around that corner. Would they have kept me out of the ditch? I don't know. But I'm aware that I have low steer tires, and if the roads get icy at all, I'm driving pretty slow. Driving pretty slow, taking it easy. I'm the slowest truck on the road. So yeah, you guys have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. If all things go to plan, I will be headed to Idaho tomorrow. Thanks for watching.